What's up everybody, I'm Dave from Dave's eBikes, and this is my review on the Aventon Pace 4 electric bike. If you've seen my videos before, or you're a subscriber to the channel, welcome back. If you're new to the channel and this is your first video that you've seen, I am Dave and I review electric bikes and electric bike accessories. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a bit of a chubby fellow, so I review electric bikes and electric bike accessories from the point of view of a larger rider. I am 6 foot tall, I am just under 300 pounds, so I give my opinion on what it would be like to ride these electric bikes or deal with these electric bike accessories from a larger rider's perspective. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're a smaller rider that you're excluded from my input. However, it does mean that you may not run into exactly the same issues that I run into with some of these bikes or some of these accessories because I'm a little larger than you. However, it doesn't mean that you won't run into those issues as well. So stick around. I'll give you my opinion of the Aventon Pace 4. I'll talk about all of the technology and all of the changes that have been implemented into this bike, and I'll give you my conclusions at the end of what I think of this bike and who I think this bike is good for. Before we begin, let me say that this video is not sponsored by Aventon in any way. As a matter of fact, it's not sponsored by any company. I would, however, like to give a shout out to Max's Electric Bikes in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, who loaned me this bike for review and testing purposes. If you're in the market for a new electric bike and you're located in the southeastern Pennsylvania area, be sure to check out Max's Electric Bikes in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, where they have over 300 electric bikes in stock and dozens of which you can test drive to make sure that it's the perfect fit for you. So be sure to check out Max's Electric Bikes in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, or maxeselectricbikes.com by clicking on the link in the description below, or by scanning the QR code that will periodically show up at the bottom of this video. If you're not close to Max's Electric Bikes in Doylestown, they do have other locations that you can definitely check out and see if you're close to one of them. So once again, thank you very much to Max's for loaning me this bike for this video. So let's talk about this bike, the Aventon Pace 4. This is an upgrade from its predecessor, the Aventon Pace 500.3. The Aventon has decided to get rid of the 500 in the name, so now it is just the Pace 4, and the upgrades on this bike are very extensive. Over the last couple of years, there's been an uptick in a sort of hybrid between a commuter style e-bike and a cruiser style e-bike. Aventon considers this a city cruiser style e-bike, and the Pace 4, I feel, is at the leading edge of that hybrid style. You'll notice that it's a little more bare bones, if you will, not as far as the technology is concerned, but they stripped off. You don't have the bumpers, you don't have the rear rack. Rear rack can be added, front rack can be added. You can add a water bottle. So accessories can be added to this bike, but they've sort of stripped it down to its barest bones. It is a very light bike, weighing in at only 58 pounds. This bike is a great city cruising style bike. They've gone with a more street style tread. This bike is made for riding on paved paths, city streets, city sidewalks. This is a perfect bike for that, and I think Aventon has really set the bar high for this new city cruiser style of bike. One of the best parts about buying an Aventon bike is not only can you go on Aventon's website and purchase it through there, but you have the ability to visit one of over 1,800 local bike shops and retailers across the country who also sell Aventon models. Retailers like Max's Electric Bikes in Doylestown, Pennsylvania are locations that you can go where you can view the bikes, test ride the bikes, have them build the bike for you, and even return in the event that you need a repair on the bike. If the employees at these other retailers are anything like Max's, they'll be sure to answer all your questions and show you each of the models to find the best fit and best bike for you. So in my opinion, one of the biggest benefits to getting an Aventon bike is having a local expert in your community where you can go and ask questions or get your bike repaired or serviced as needed. So when we're talking about updates from the previous model, we have to talk about the new Aventon control unit, the ACU. The ACU adds wireless 4G and GPS connectivity to this bike. That allows for a whole bunch of new features that have been added to this bike, including a bunch of theft deterrent enhancements, as well as over-the-air firmware updates. So let's start with talking about the theft deterrent features that have been added because of the ACU. They've been added to the Pace 4 and a bunch of other Aventon bikes as well. First, because of the addition of the 4G and GPS connectivity on this bike, you can monitor this bike's GPS location, and it can also monitor for abnormal movement or activity on this bike. There is also a billeted bike lock in the rear wheel that will engage, and this rear wheel will not be able to move. You can set a passcode for your display unit in which you can't even turn on the bike without putting in that passcode. There's a geofencing system. Because of the built-in GPS, you can say where your bike can and cannot be actively moving. There's a keyless battery system. You cannot remove the battery from the bike without allowing it from either the control panel or from your Aventon app. Aventon has gone above and beyond with this Aventon control unit and all of the technological features that they have now added to their bikes, including the Pace 4. So now that we've talked about the ACU being added to this bike, now let's talk about some of the other changes that have happened from the Pace 500.3 to the Pace 4. So the Pace 4 no longer includes the swept back cruiser style handlebars. They went with a BMX style handlebar, which I think is actually more comfortable than the old style handlebars, because rather than leaning back in a cruising style riding position, you are leaning slightly more forward, which allows for more comfortable seating position, and your back doesn't hurt as much, neither does your tailbone. Part of the reason is because they still included this very comfortable wide riding seat that is on a suspension seat post. So it is a very comfortable ride, even though they've changed it from a little more of that cruiser style seating position to something that's a little more of a commuter style seating position. The Pace 4 comes in 3 different colors and 2 sizes. The size in front of me is the large size, which accommodates riders from 5'7" to 6'1". There is also a regular size, which accommodates riders from 4'11" to 5'7". The payload capacity on both of those bikes is 300 pounds. Now, if you've listened to my intro, you know that I am very close to the payload capacity of this bike. Once I put my shoes and my gear on, I probably am at the payload capacity of this bike. Now, that being said, I feel like this bike had no issues carrying me as a rider. I felt like the motor could handle the weight and handle it uphill, downhill, no problem whatsoever. I actually felt very comfortable on this bike, comfortable enough that I almost felt like this could handle probably 50 more pounds. Now, that being said, if you weigh 50 more pounds than I do, you might not want to look at this bike. You may want to be very careful with that, because the maximum payload of this is 300 pounds. And, you know, ride it, see if it fits you, but I would stick with this bike if you are under 300 pounds. Okay, so let's go over some of the tech specs of this bike. And just in case I missed something, there is a link in the description to get to Aventon's website and go over all of the different tech specs. So this is the Pace 4 step-through e-bike. It is a step-through style e-bike as opposed to a step-over. The weight of this bike is about 58.2 pounds. This bike is IPX6 water resistant, which means if you're riding it in the rain, not a problem. This is a Class 2 e-bike that can be converted to a Class 3 via the app. The battery is both UL 2271 and UL 2849 certified, meaning the whole charging system is 2849 certified. This is Aventon's city cruiser style e-bike. So let's talk about the frame of this bike. This is an aluminum frame, which makes it slightly lighter. It is also, in case you haven't noticed, a rigid style front end, meaning there is no front end suspension. It has 27.5 by 2-inch tires. It has a Shimano 8-speed system with a Shimano Altus derailleur. The motor on here is a 500 watt Aventon branded motor. It has 500 nominal watts, 864 peak watts. The torque, the maximum torque on this motor is 60 Newton meters. This is a 36 volt electrical system. The battery, which is nicely integrated into the frame, is a 20 amp hour battery. The controller is a 36 volt 24 amp ACU Aventon control unit. This bike does have sensor swap, meaning it can be used as both a torque sensor and cadence sensor. It also has BMX style handlebars, as discussed in the beginning. As you can see, there are no fenders, no rear or front fenders. There is also no rear cargo rack. This bike does have a very comfortable wide Aventon branded saddle on a suspension seat post. So you do have some suspension when you hit little bumps, but really this bike isn't meant to go over gigantic bumps. Now we're going to go over your controls. Starting on the left side, you have your nice Aventon hand grips. I've always felt that Aventon hand grips were very comfortable. They have some ridges in here and a nice padding feel. They also have a screw-in side for putting in a nice mirror, which is always good when you don't have a ton of handlebar room to mount a mirror. Also on the left side is your front brake lever and your thumb throttle, your control panel, which we'll come back to. Now let's move over to the right side. On the right side, once again, very nice grip. Your rear brake controller, it has the typical 8-speed Shimano shifter. You would shift here to move down in gear, and you would flip up here or back here with your index finger to go up in gear. So let's go over the control panel, and then we'll move into the app. So first and foremost, to turn on the control panel, you would hold this button in the center, the power button. Now, if there was a password, it would show up there. This may be very difficult to see because I am trying to angle and avoid the sun. So your turn signals are over here, left and right turn signal. And keep in mind, when you're in any of the three modes, Turbo, Sport, or Eco, if you press the thumb throttle, this bike will move forward. To turn on your headlights, you would hold down on the headlight button or the plus. Now notice the screen goes darker because it assumes you're riding at night. You can change this setting in the settings of the app. We're going to turn off the lights for now to see if it's a little easier for us to see. So when you're at your main menu, you will see some information show right up on the screen. You will see your miles per hour or kilometers per hour. This can be changed in the menu. You will see your battery. It shows not only a battery level indicator, but also a percentage. And you'll see your pedal assist level. In this case, there is off, Eco, Sport, and Turbo. And if you do the over-the-air firmware upgrade, you will also have another one called Boost, which will allow a 30-second, 130% power boost for riding when you're riding up hills, or you just need to have that extra 30% power. Now I should say there is also a walk mode, which if you are in one of the three pedal assist modes and you hold in the pedal assist down, or the negative, or the little sign of the guy walking here, or the little symbol of the person walking, that will move you into walk mode, which will start moving the bike forward slowly. When you let go of that, the bike stops moving. I'm going to turn that back down to off so that I don't hit this throttle, because if you hit this throttle when it is in a pedal assist mode, you will start going. So on the main screen, that's the information you'll get. If you want different information, you can hit the power button quickly and you will get your trip miles and trip time, or trip distance and trip time. You'll get your trip average speed if you hit it again, and your trip maximum speed. You'll also get your odometer and total time the bike has been ridden. You'll also see your total average speed and your range as you're riding. Then if you hit it again, you'll come back to the main menu. Now let's get into the settings menu. To get into the settings menu, you'll hold down the plus and the minus at the same time. That will bring you into your settings menu, and here are the settings that can be changed. So you can clear your trip. So this is how you would unlock your battery and remove your battery. To do this, you would go down to battery lock and you'd hit the power button, and then you would hit the power button again, and it would unlock your battery for removal. Here's an example of what it looks like when we're removing the battery. When you remove the battery, this is what happens. If we engage it from the control panel or the app, you will notice that the battery pops down. There is a little button at the top that you can push down and to remove the battery. To put the battery back in, you just line it up where this little handle here is at the top, and you pop it back in and it engages again. You can also engage the bike lock from here. You would hit the power button and then the power button again. You will hear it engage, and that wheel, now just to let you know I'm trying to push the bike forward, that wheel will not move. To disengage it, you hit that again. So when you engage the bike lock, this is what it looks like down here. You can hear it engage, and what happens is when you try to move the bike, you cannot move that bike anywhere. To disengage it, you will hear the clicking again, and it will disengage, and now our bike can be moved. You can hit the back button, take you back to the main menu. You also have the display unit, the brightness of the display unit. Auto power off will show you how long this display unit will go on before it will automatically power off. This is where you set your password. This is some system info on the bike, on the firmware. You can set the date and time as well, and this is where you would connect to the app. So let's show you the app next. In order to connect the app to your bike, you will go into the menu settings by hitting plus and minus. You will go into connect the app, and you will hit the power button. A QR code will show up on the screen, and then you will pair that with your app. So now I'm going to show you the app and everything you can do inside of the app. So once you pair the bike to the app, you'll be able to see an overview on the main screen of your odometer, your riding time. You can turn the power on and off. You can lock or unlock the bike, turn your lights on. You can see your battery level at this point, and what pedal assist mode. You can actually use your app as the control panel and change your pedal assist mode mid-riding. You can also see your location and max speed, average speed, that type of thing. If you go into the settings, these are all the things that you can change. Screen brightness, auto power off, you can change the assistance level, and you can actually tune your motor within this app. You can also turn on this is the speed limits and metrics, the track my bike, and all of the security features. You can set up the alarm, the lock when powered off, the security verification, unusual activity. This is also where you can clear your bike password if you need it, or set up geofencing, where you circle the map or set the area in the map where you can ride or can't ride. And also this is where you can update your firmware, do a backup of your settings, things like that. Also, status about your bike, and if you ever sell your bike or trade it in or anything like that, this is also where you can unpair your app from your bike. So that's the app. It can double as your control panel, or you can use it just to set your features and functions, which there's a lot of them. The Aventon app is probably one of the best integrations of an app with a bike that I've seen, and it's probably the best one on the market right now. So, in conclusion, what do I think of the Pace 4? I think that the Pace 4 sets the bar as far as the city cruiser style bike. This is a newer class of e-bikes, these city cruiser style bikes, and I think the Pace 4 is showing every other company where to go when it comes to how to produce a city cruiser style bike. The technology upgrades alone in this bike are amazing, but the bike is a comfortable, relaxed riding bike that also has an enormous range. I mean, even me, at the maximum amount of payload for this bike, I believe that I could, in sport mode, get somewhere close to 40 or 50 miles with one charged battery. I honestly think that somebody smaller than me in sport mode could probably get very close to that 70 miles. In eco mode, I think they're going to go above 70 miles. I think that this 500 watt motor with this 20 amp hour battery is an amazing setup. And I think honestly that this bike really does set the bar as far as these city cruiser style bikes are concerned. So who's this bike good for? Just like I said, if you're going to be using this bike to commute to work in your city, if you're looking to ride in paved bike paths, this is not a bike for going off-road. This is not a bike that is meant to go onto the wooded trails unless they're paved in your area. This is not a dirt bike. You're not going off-roading on this bike. This is definitely made for paved pathways and maybe even compressed dirt. But this bike really shines on commuting and cruising on roads, on city streets, city sidewalks. This bike is amazing for that. If you're looking for a great commuter bike, if you have, say, 20 miles to work, this bike will get you to work and back on one battery, even if you're switching between eco and sport. Not to mention, this can upgrade to boost mode with the over-the-air firmware update. And boost mode, let's say you're coming up a huge hill. Let's say you live in San Francisco and you're going up one of those huge hills. Boost mode will get you there. Also has a walking mode for when you're crossing the street. Let's say you're walking and you need to take a break and go up and you're going uphill. There is an actual hold mode which will allow this bike to stop, stay put, not roll backwards on you. This bike is a great bike for that, and I think this bike sets the bar for those style bikes. And if you're looking for a bike that's going to get you to work or to just cruise around along the city streets or in your town, this, I think, is the bike for it. Aventon has done a great job with this bike. So that being said, once again, I would like to thank Max's Electric Bikes in Doylestown, Pennsylvania for loaning me the Pace 4 for testing and review purposes. If you are in the market for a new electric bike and you live in the southeastern Pennsylvania area, be sure to check out Max's in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. You can test ride dozens of bikes, and they have over 300 bikes in stock waiting for you to find your perfect bike. Be sure to check out Max's Electric Bikes in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, or one of their other locations. You can check out maxeselectricbikes.com. You can click on the link in the description below, or scan the QR code that shows up at the bottom of the screen. This has been my review of the Aventon Pace 4. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. This has been my review of the Aventon Pace 4 electric bike. Thank you guys. See you next time, and keep on pedaling.